Welcome to the Kpopcast. I'm your Kpop DJ Peter Lowe, and today I'm joined by Michaela. Welcome back from the Kpopcast Editing Dungeon.
Yes, hello everybody.
And this episode, we're joined by notable K-pop journalist and blogger Jacques from the Arcady blog.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you so much, Jacques, for joining us and to provide your opinion and your thoughts on Apink. Today we'll be talking about Apink's I'm So Sick.
Letting you know if this song is Daebak or not.
But before we dive into that song, first, let's do our hit replays. Hit replays are songs we recommend you listen on repeat throughout the week. So, Michaela, what's on your hit replay for this week?
Well, my hit replay for this week is Yoonmi Rae's You and Me featuring Junoflow. I love Yoonmi Rae, and this is the sequel to her 2002 album Gemini 2. And this song is just like the smooth, breezy summer jam, and the music video is like colorful and fun, and it's just so great to see this OG artist back again with a great pop for the summer.
That's just my friend. 아닌 척 해봐도 보여 내 눈에. No sugar, no sugar. That's just my friend. 숨겨봐도 숨길 수가 없어 왜. That's just my friend. That's just my friend.
Jacques, what's making you hit replay this week?
Well, I've gone with, don't know how to pronounce her name. It's either Gyeongri or Kyungli. Star Empire spell it about 5 different ways, but she's from Nine Muses, Blue Moon.
Yes.
It's kind of like a sexy electronic type song, and it actually sounds really similar to Charlie Puth's Attention. So I think they were actually ripping that off a bit, but it's gone for a completely different vibe. It's really sexy, and you know, I'm just happy to see one of the smaller girl groups get a solo because, you know, I've always been upset that Jaekyung from Rainbow never got a solo. So whenever I see these kind of like, you know, these smaller girl groups putting out solo records, I'm always really happy about it. Yeah, it's really good, and it's a little bit more on the mature side, I think, as far as K-pop goes. So I don't think it will get a lot of younger fans, but I think people in their 20s and 30s will really like it.
Yeah, absolutely. An emphasis on sexy and mature side. Like mainly, I love the visuals of that single. And my hit replay this week is Jessie's Down. In recent days, we've seen a lot of girl groups gunning for that Sistar summer slot, but Jessie's Down is a viable contender for the position with tropical-themed music and visuals. There's lots of booty, lots of boobs, lots of Jessie sucking on things. So be sure to watch the music video and the dance version. It's one to watch for both the track and Jessie's assets.
Boy, I wanna let you down.
I think she's in like a G-string and then mesh shorts and twerking into the camera, which I think the last time I saw something that provocative was probably the Stella marionette dance practice.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I love it.
It's definitely pushing the ballot for K-pop. And I've learned that Jessie is also representing the home team, the Golden State Warriors. So yes, thank you, Jessie, for wearing that.
That being said, moving on to our Daebak or not for Apink's I'm So Sick.
예전의 느낌 그때의 감정이 다르고 없어 매일 밤 전화해 내 정신도 아닌데 이유도 없는 진심 So baby bye bye bye
Apink to date has been defined by aegyo and innocent charm. Since 2011, I would actually opine that they were the front runners of the genre. And I might even say that they were that G-Friend model before G-Friend blew up for their very similar concept. Apink is known for their tracks such as My My, No No No, Mr. Chu, Love, and 5. And I feel like Apink are known for their teenage girl group next door sort of look. Jacques, am I missing anything, from your more super fan seasoned perspective on who Apink is and what our listeners should take away
Yes, please
from
educate us.
Yeah, well, I'm Apink Panda, and Apink stan from day one. Their first mini album, Seven Springs of Apink, was one of the first K-pop physical albums I ever bought, and I loved it. And yeah, I think you're right on the money. I mean, I would say they're the representative cute K-pop girl group of the last generation of K-pop. And they've really stuck with the one sound and the one concept, even as K-pop has changed over the years and gone through different phases. And they are one of the biggest girl groups out as well. I don't think people actually realize how big they are, but
yeah, definitely.
I think they've had one song that was a sort of a quote-unquote flop, which was only one. And that actually still kind of did well compared to a lot of, other girl group sales. And I think they're in the top 10 for the most music program wins as well. So shout out to Apink.
That's right. So, if you haven't followed them, you've been living on a rock, and they are essential in defining K-pop. When you think of all the different, facets of what K-pop is, Apink is right up there. This latest comeback from them is a very strong concept change, and they are known for that aegyo concept. When you think of K-pop, Apink is right up there. But that being said, aegyo only carries for so long, so it was nice to see them try something a bit different and a bit more quote-unquote mature. I feel like what they have going only works for groups who play it safe with that cute concept. This is arguably the first concept change that we've seen from them in 6 years. So if you haven't seen the music video yet, how would you describe the music video itself?
Basically, this whole concept is at a time where most people are going for this sort of summer vibe, but the mood of this MV is much darker and a very mature concept. The first major scene that we see is the girls entering a warehouse, and they're going into these different colorful sets that represent each girl's own room. So we see Naeun in a bedroom with TV and paintings, Choryong in a walk-in closet with a sofa and cake, Namju, of course, is in the kitchen, Hayoung is in what looks to be a garden with this treasure box of jewels. Bomi is in what looks like a living room surrounded by vinyls and instruments. And Eunji is in the bathroom with a camera, maybe developing or destroying photos. This comeback was actually notable because of these two surprises. One, the girls definitely went for a more sexier, mature vibe as opposed to their usual more girly, feminine concepts that they've done before.
And the second surprise is that more mature message. So the lyrics actually point to a girl who confesses how her feelings have changed. She's fallen out of love, but asks that boy or lover whom she's speaking to bring that original charm. The overall vibe and feeling I'm getting from those lyrics and the song itself has an element of melancholy on wanting that original love or recalling back to that original love. So, Michaela, Jack, what did you guys think of the concept?
Oh my gosh, this was such a strong concept for them. I was so excited to see them really going forward with more of this mature femininity, whereas before they would be very girly. And it's really good to see this, especially since they're celebrating their 7th anniversary this year. So I think the fact that they went all in on this more mature concept really sets them up for great evolution moving forward.
Yeah, I find they look really mature, but it's actually very glamorous and glitzy because they've got a lot of sequins and kind of sparkly things on, and they definitely look quite elegant. And, the last time they kind of hinted at a more mature concept, they sort of went there a little bit with their song Only One, which was a little bit more mature, but it still had retained a lot of their old kind of innocent style as well. Whereas this one, they've really gone all out and it's just really glamorous and in your face, and it really marks a huge change. Like as soon as you see it, it's a bit like, oh wow, is this Apink?
Yeah, and I think that was a big reaction that us and really the K-pop community had as a whole. It was like, wow.
And that's
like,
not to say that they haven't sort of just by the sort of the fashion sense gone with this more glamorous look.
Yeah.
Like because in LUVE, the clothes that they were wearing were like very like mature, glamorous style. But LUVE is not really a song that I would consider a more mature concept. It's still very cutesy, still very fun and bubbly.
I thought it was funny that just watching them react to food, like, here's a cake. You can't eat it. You just have to play with it. Here's a big pile of fries. I'm going to pour ketchup on it. Like, I don't know. I want to see girls actually eating the food when they have it, like there, rather than just like, I don't know. They must have had really bad food envy. Just like, here's delicious food that we can't eat to maintain our like godlike K-pop bodies.
I don't know how long those chips would have stayed nice. I mean, they probably brought them out and then by like the 6th take, they were probably soggy and gross.
Yeah.
So by the end, they were probably glad that they didn't have to eat them.
Especially with all that ketchup that she was pouring on it. Ooh.
So, Jacques, I know we've heard that this song has also been marked with a little bit of controversy.
Yeah, well, if you keep up with the gossipy side of the Korean news, you would have seen that there's been speculation that some of the members have had some plastic surgery, namely Naeun, who has, I think she's done something to her nose a little bit. She doesn't look that different, but you can see a bit of a change. And then there's also Namju, who has completely changed her nose. I mean, she looks like a different person. And this video, I guess it's a whole new concept for them, but some of them, you know, I guess are showing off new faces. And it's especially striking with Namju in particular because if you look at her old face had a really cute kind of look to it. Like you actually couldn't imagine the old Namju doing a sexy, mature concept. And she looks so different, but it matches this more mature look as well. So I don't know if she changed her nose purposely for the concept or if it was something that she wanted to do. I don't know, but she does look very different, but it does match with the concept. So we'll say that.
You know, I wish there wasn't so much taboo around surgery in K-pop. Like, obviously, it happens, right?
Yeah.
But can we just acknowledge, like, it was good? Like
it was. Well, Naeun in particular, she looks incredible. Like if you've seen the live performances, she just looks so amazing. Like I really think that she's kind of gone from, she's always had a cute look and now she kind of looks more like a top actress or something. She has that elegant kind of look that you would see from maybe, you know, like a big Chinese actress or something like that. So I don't know. I think she looks stunning. I can't take my eyes off her.
I mean, they can only be, and I've said this before, like they can only be cute and eggy for so long. Like as you grow up, your concept has to reflect that. Your face has to reflect that. Like you can't be a kid forever. And this has to be a right move for them, you know, surgery and concept.
Yeah, look, as long as they're happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So K-pop is also often known for its concept changes. But looking back, you know, on the years and other girl groups, there have been a number of other concept changes. So what comes to my mind is Gugudan, who started off very aegyo and then did something a little less aegyo, a little more assertive. We definitely saw CLC being hyper aegyo, and then all of a sudden we have Hobgoblin, which is like edgy, edgy AF. But the one that also stands out really strongly in my mind was Brown Eyed Girls, who was also going for a slightly playful, cutesy concept, and then they go hyper sexy, like, you know, leather, abracadabra. So that was a very sharp, you know, 100-degree change. Were there any other notable changes in K-pop history? And were they good moves? Like, has this worked well before?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm a girl group super fan, so I love a drastic concept change. The ones that I can remember the best are probably Secret. They went from doing Magic and Madonna, which had kind of like a sort of Beyonce kind of vibe, to doing Shy Boy and Starlight Moonlight. Those two songs were about as cute as you can get, and that really took Secret to the next level. I mean, during that period of Starlight Moonlight, they were definitely one of the top girl groups. Also, Girls' Day. So Girls' Day went from their cute concept and then they did Expectation, and that completely blew up. That was huge, and that really like put them on the map because they had, you know, been struggling. They went to become a top girl group. And Stella as well. Like Stella did some cute and quirky concepts and they weren't getting anywhere. And then if you remember when they came out with Marionette, I mean, everyone was talking about that. It's so funny
because like I don't even remember anything before Marionette. Like I thought that was their debut because I remember that blowing up. Maybe not for the best of reasons, but I do remember that one blowing up and thinking like, oh, this is an interesting new group. Yeah. It actually wasn't their first new song.
Well, you know, they had a few concepts because they came out around the time that like 21 and 4 Minute were really big. So they kind of came out with like a 21 knockoff concept and it just didn't work, really auto-tuned. They tried to do like a cute schoolgirl concept. That didn't work. And then finally when they did the sexy thing, that's when it took off. So concept changes have worked for a lot of groups. Although one difference that we see with the Apink concept is that they've been consistently successful for, you know, 7 years doing the cute concept. Whereas these other groups, it was like they weren't doing well. So then they completely just changed their sound and image to get their career off the ground. So it's quite different.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like what is prompting this change? Like we've seen them slightly deviate, like still cute, right? I'm looking specifically at 5. Like 5 was still cute, but not in the same way it was in My where they're more like hyper innocent, like hyper girl next door, you know? It's just a little more growing up, and this is a very strong deviation from that. Do we know what's prompting this from Apink? Like, you know, if it ain't broke, like why fix it, right? What could be their strategy here?
I think they've just realized with all the cute groups that are out now, because I mean, we've known since the sexy concept wrapped up a few years ago, and since then it's really just been all cute groups across the board. And Apink are, I mean, obviously they're not old, but they're on the older side compared to these new groups that are coming out with like, you know, girls that are fresh out of high school or probably still in school, doing these super innocent concepts. And, you know, they've been in the game this long that I think they just felt like, look, we really need to get out there and switch it up because we can't really compete with Twice and these other more innocent girl groups.
That's a good example.
Yeah, because like I said before, you know, this is their 7th year, and not a lot of girl groups from their era have lasted long enough to make this transition from, you know, doing mostly girly to a more mature concept as they get older, as they move on, you know, and evolve musically.
Yeah, and I should point out that this is so far is a huge success for them. I actually, to be honest, and I'm a long-time fan, I didn't really think that this would do that well because I had seen them kind of like with only one. I felt they tried to go a little bit more mature and it didn't do as well. But this song is like number 3 on Melon behind Twice and Blackpink.
Oh, wow.
And this is after, what, about a week and a half that it's been out. It's, you know, it's crossed 15 million views on YouTube. It started picking up first place wins on music shows. So this is definitely a hit. So this has paid off.
Along with the concept, what did you guys think of the choreography, the dancing of Apink song?
You know, I'm a big fan of choreography in general. It's one of the things that I like the most about K-pop. And I was a little disappointed with the dance for this. I mean, there's certainly nothing wrong with it. There's just no memorable kind of point dance. And I feel like when you're coming out with this 180-degree concept and musical sort of change, that you should have a really memorable point dance to go along with it. So it's like if you think of Girls' Day doing Expectation, they had the suspenders, or you think of you think of Brown Eyed Girls, they have the hip move. It's like Apink, this is just sort of like normal choreography. So I really wish that they had found some way to like work a memorable kind of point dance into this for sure.
Right, like it I make fun of this a lot, but for a lot of girl groups, when they do cute, like the choreography tends to be really easy. Like it's something that like I could do, like, and I'm not, you know, that good of like a K-pop dancer, but like that's something I could get into. And if they are going to do something different, Jacques, to your point, they might as well like present that new angle in the choreo, whereas what we're seeing could have worked for that same Aegyo cute concept in terms of what it looks like dance-wise.
I mean, one reason maybe that they couldn't get a point dance in there is like, so if you think of like a sexy choreography, it'll have something quite blatant, like, you know, rubbing themselves or squatting down, spreading their legs, something like that. And then if you think of the cute concepts, there'll be like a shy, egg yo kind of move, but they're not overtly sexy. It's sort of like an elegant girl crush kind of thing. So maybe it's a bit harder to get a signature move into that concept.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, what does that manifest like in terms of dance choreography? That is really tricky.
Yeah.
I will say that just watching the choreography at this dance, like, it's become essential that they have long hair. Like, if you're doing a dance cover of this song, you're not doing it unless you have long hair. Because I was just watching them do a lot of hair flips as they're dancing to it.
Well, that's like Namjoon's big moment. Like, she comes in with the pre-chorus and she's flipping her hair around. It just looks amazing.
All right. Well, speaking of the pre-chorus, what did we think of the audio, the song itself?
Well, this song is labeled as a minor tropical house dance track, maybe in like specifically an F sharp minor key. I'm not really sure. This is the point where I wish Raji was here on this episode to tell me when I'm wrong with these kinds of things. But firstly, I love the English intro to the song. Like, personally, my favorite member is Naeun. Like, she's my favorite member. She's so beautiful and gorgeous. So when she's looking at you and she's speaking in English, I'm like, oh.
Well, one thing that I love about this song is that the verses are like two kind of half sentences. It's Naeun and Charong, and they say, I don't know I'm not sure what they're saying in Korean, but it's like a repetitive. It's a couple of words really, and that's all the verses are, and then it goes into a much larger pre-chorus, and it goes into the main chorus. So I think that is a really interesting kind of something they've done with the production.
Admittedly, I feel like the chorus itself was a bit lacking. I don't know. It felt like it was just kind of like, okay, here's the chord progression. Let's just kind of play it out. You know, like it wasn't trying to do anything interesting in the chorus. And that's where you expect to have that hook. What was it? That word that they say over and over. Was it no, ha, ha, ha? What was it?
Bye.
Bye. Yes. Yeah. It wasn't catchy. Like, obviously, I'm struggling to even remember what it was. So that I felt was lacking. However, the pre-chorus was there, and that's where it had like those moments where it's like, oh my goodness, like this is something different. And agree, Michaela, like from the beginning with those English lyrics, it captivates you. Like from the very first, like, phrase, it's there.
Yeah, I mean, I find the whole thing really captivating. I mean, I love the chorus as well, and I feel like Jung Yoon-ji, her voice, you really know that it's her singing when she does the bye, so it still feels very Apink. And, honestly, when I heard the album sampler before this came out, I actually didn't think that I was going to like it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was ready to stan it. Like, I was like, well, I'm on board whether it's a good song or not because it's my girl's Apink. And, but like I said, I was happy with their previous sound. Like, I was happy with them doing the same song over and over. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it to me. And when I heard the preview, I thought the song was going to be more generic than it was, but now that I've heard it, I don't really find it that generic. It feels very kind of like modern disco. It's very glamorous.
Definitely.
And, the song along with the kind of glitzy sequence and the concept, it's very gay. Like, it feels like you could see it kind of maybe in like a gay club or something. It's one of those those glam kind of like K-pop songs the gays will love. And actually, it's funny because I was tweeting about Apink when it came out, and some people that follow me that aren't into K-pop, like these gay guys, were like, oh, I actually like this song. So yeah, I love it. I think they really turned it out, and it's not as generic as it could have been for like a dance song. I mean, it doesn't sound like like a Teddy Forever Young or something. Like, little fresher,
It's so funny that you say that. I would say like the inverse of exactly what you said. So I feel like the song was a bit like tried and cliche. Like I was like, okay, another house song. But keep in mind, like I started like learning how to DJ on like all those songs that you'd hear in the gay clubs. Like that was my favorite thing to mix with.
Yeah.
So when I listened to this song, I was like, okay, I've heard this a little too many times. It's a very, very cliche house song to me on the whole.
Yeah.
Music reviewer Nick of The Bias List, so this is another blog, he said that like it was really similar to another Black Eyed Pills song, Chung Ha's Roller Coaster. And when I put those two songs together, it definitely has that same vibe, although this one definitely more of that minor key, F minor, and sounding a bit, darker. Like you get that. with this song?
Well, a big difference is that the Chunga song has UK garage sound to it in the verses. So that's where it differentiates, whereas this is more of a sort of a glamorous kind of dance pop vibe.
자꾸 아찔한 이 느낌 위험한 이 느낌 내 손을 꼭 잡아줘 I want you 흔들리지 않게 조금 더 뜨겁게 나를 꼭 더 안아줘 Baby bye 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 일도 없는 진심 So baby bye bye bye
So the thing is, like, you hear flares of that K-Tropical house, just a little bit. Like, you hear some sampling, some instrumentals that you get in a lot of K-Tropical house in this song. And I just kind of wish that they slowed down the tempo just a little bit and changed up the percussion just so I can get more of that vibe. But that may have been too tropical, too summer at this time. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. It's about that time, y'all. It's time to give our final scores. So for the concept, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest, how would you rate it?
Well, I guess I'll go first. I have to say that this is definitely a 5. for me.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I'm giving it a really high score. While a lot of the sort of visuals of the music video itself sort of reminded me of other things, the fact that Apink is doing this concept and they're going full out on this very mature, glamorous sort of visuals, like they look amazing in the music video. So that's why I have to give it a 5, because visually it's amazing that they're able to pull this off.
I don't think I've ever heard you give a 5 before, Michaela, so that's a big deal.
Yeah, no, this is my first 5 ever.
Wow.
So.
Well, some of that's probably the shock value because it is such a change. It's not just another concept. It's like a complete 180.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look, I'm the Apink stan, but I think I'll give it a 4 just because some of their stage outfits I don't like. Some of them I love. Like, some of them are really on point. Overall, I think they really look stunning. I think it's really glamorous. It's really memorable. And yeah, absolutely love it.
Yeah, sorry guys. So I'll be a little bit more of a bad cop. Although I'm not critiquing this too harshly. When I saw it, like, I'm like, okay, great, new concept and vibes that I'm getting from Apink. You know, it's not bright and white; it's dark and black. You know, it's a very different for Apink. But it was still in like a box set. You know, it's still that production value that we'd get from so many other K-pop groups today.
I actually agree with you there, and I was rewatching the video before we recorded, and it looked like they're in a parking lot or something, and it looked like a set. It looked so much like a set, and I was just wishing that maybe they were doing that part like outside or something. So I know what you're saying with this.
It meets the bar for production value that we come to expect, in 2018 for K-pop. So I give it a 3.
Okay, so how about the audio? Peter, what would you give
A
it?
3. So again, it's a very satisfactory song. Like, as you guys heard in my critique of the audio portion, like, it's not something new or different. It was like, okay, let's grab a little bit of flair from K-Tropical House, produce it at 124 beats per minute, and we're good to go. Another house track. And that's fine, but it's not as memorable for that reason.
For the audio, actually, I'm going to go out. I'm going to give it a 5.
Wow.
I love this song. Like I said, I didn't really expect to like it as much as I have. I knew I would like it, but I didn't know that I would love it. And since it came out, it's just been on repeat. And that's kind of just how I judge songs now. Like, they'll come out and I'm like, I'm like, how long am I going to keep playing this? And I'm listening to it every day. And I just want to say as well that, I'm a longtime Tiara fan, and I really think this would have been a great Tiara song. I tweeted about this because Tiara were kind of the queens of having that kind of commercial mainstream sort of dance sound like this. And this, it has a little bit of a retro to it because it does have a bit of a disco vibe. And I really think, I think if Tiara had come out with this song, this would have been maybe even better, just because Tiara are like my number one. I would have given it a 6 out of 5 under Tiara, but yeah, absolutely love this song. So good.
Oh, okay, well, Peter, I think I have to agree with you. I only gave this song a 3.
Yeah.
Well, I love the song. Don't get me wrong. I love the song. It's definitely in my rotation for this week of my playlist of songs I've just been playing over and over again. But the song itself, while it's an amazing release from Apink and how significant it is for their career and how they plan to move forward. But the song alone doesn't really have as much staying power for me as the whole concept itself.
Okay. All right. With that being said, taking into account the concept, the visuals, the dance, the song, the audio, what we thought of the music itself, is this song Daebak or not? Michaela, I'll pass it your way first. What'd you think?
I have to say Daebak. This is my first Daebak of the year, and I think it's fitting that it goes to Apink for this song.
Hell yes, Daebak times a million. They slayed. Everything they do is Daebak, and this is just another one.
There we go. And it's definitely Daebak.
Woo!
Love it. Triple crown. Another reason that they may have changed their concept is that they actually renewed their contracts last year after 5. So I'm guessing that maybe they've extended for a few more years, and their agency thought, look, this is maybe the start of a bit of a new era now, so let's just try something new and see how it goes, because I don't know how much longer they could have continued doing the cute thing. I mean, they would have appealed always to their core fan base. I mean, like me, for example, if they just kept doing the same Shinsadong Tiger song in like schoolgirl outfits for the next like 15 years, I would have been happy. But I think in terms of staying like relevant with the general public and you know, being a talked about relevant group, they really did need to switch it up.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, given this new direction, what could be next for their career? I mean, are we going to see another similar, darker, you know, I dare say like melancholy vibe from Apink for their next comeback? Or what would you advise, Jacques, in your professional opinion?
I would say definitely, and I don't think that they should wait too long for their comeback, because there's been some times when they've maybe done like one comeback a year and then they've gone off, you know, sort of and worked in Japan and done solo activities. I think they should keep up the momentum as long as they have a really good song, because you know, it only takes like one flop to just ruin your momentum. And I think that as well, Apink actually quite controversial with, you know, their plastic surgeries and everything like that. And I think that maybe there's a lot of people that are wanting to see them fail. So I think as long as they can keep coming out with really strong songs and concepts, they should definitely stick to this direction and maybe try and make another comeback before the end of the year.
Bang, bang, bang. So that's it for Apink's song, I'm So Sick. Wrapping it up, we had some listener feedback. So be sure to join us for our weekly K-pop Twitter chats on Tuesdays at noon Pacific time using the hashtag Kpopchat led by Supermatic.
This week, we discussed how typically aegyo groups are starting to explore their sexier sides, as seen with Apink and Twice's comebacks.
I've got a tweet from Pied K-Piper. They say, praise that Apink finally tried something new. I think with the complete domination of Blackpink and G-Idol, who are both very colourful, edgy, sexy, we'll see a lot more of it, and I'm happy about it. I love powerful, sexy women concepts.
And listener at A Lonely Tortoise replied, I wouldn't call Twice's Dance the Night Away a sexy concept, but it's not their typical bright and cute. It's a slightly more sunset concept maybe, but I love it, and I think Apink went in the right direction for them regardless of the time of year.
And in discussing upcoming comebacks, everyone is excited for 365 So Fresh, Triple H. And that was a tweet from our neighbors, our friends, K-pop Pop.
Woo!
I second that. I can't wait for Triple H.
I think we're all waiting for that one.
Yeah, that name has been floating through our group chat for the podcast crew, and I think we're all really excited. I was listening to the little snippets of the new MIDI album before the recording, and I'm really excited.
Oh, I haven't heard the snippets yet. Are they just doing the same thing that they did last time?
Maybe. Honestly, I didn't listen to the full album last time, so I'm not quite sure, but I'm definitely excited for this one.
Okay, yeah, me too.
Okay, so don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and tell your friends.
Signing off, let our listeners know where they can find you online and who you think had the best concept change in K-pop? So Jacques, I'll let you go first.
You can find me at arcadieblog on Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat, even though I don't really use Snapchat. And best concept change of all time is obviously Brown Eyed Girls' Abracadabra.
You can find me at DJ Peter Lowe, and I agree. Abracadabra was the strongest, most notable K-pop
Yes.
change in K-pop. Left the biggest culture change for the genre.
Well, I'm going to kind of divert a little bit for a newer group. CLC's Hobgoblin, I think, was a really big shift for them as a group, as far as, you know, them being a newer group and trying out a new concept, and it really set them up well to do Black Dress after that.
Well, a new quote unquote, because it's basically 4 minutes left over concept.
Basically. I mean, Hyuna did produce Hobgoblin, so that's probably why.
Yeah.
And you can find me at Michaela J. Kpop on Twitter.
Don't forget to tell us your answer to this week's question by tweeting at us at the Kpopcast. That's it. Thank you guys for your time, and thank you, Jacques, for joining us for this episode.
Thanks for having me. It was so much fun.
So, yes, thank you, Jesse, for wearing that.
Yeah, and you know, with this song, this came out at a time when there's a lot of American female rappers coming out, like Nicki Minaj and Cardi
Yes,
B and
yes.
Iggy Azalea, and I think Down is better. Like, I'm listening to Down, and I'm like, if Cardi B or Nicki Minaj had put this out as their new single, that would be a massive hit. So, yeah, Jesse's really done that. It was produced by Gray, so I think maybe some of these
Yes.
these sort of American girls should get in and work with Gray.
I definitely agree with you. I
Yeah.
saw Nicki Minaj's summer video, the one where she's a mermaid on a beach, and honestly, when I watch it with the volume off and I play down in the
Oh my god, I need to do that after this.